But if I didn't take that approach, what would they think of me as their coach? You know, and so the thought that I tried to share with them last night, there's actually a scripture verse in 1 Timothy that says, "Don't let anyone look down on you because of your youth." And so I talked to all those guys and said, that applies to a lot of you guys specifically. You're young guys, you just got here. It applies to some other guys, even though you're a little bit older in terms of experience, you're still young, you're still youthful. Brandon Moses only been playing O-line for 1 year. You know, Jared Cooper's been around here forever, but he had never started. But if you looked at us collectively as a group, we're a young group, we're an inexperienced group. But that doesn't mean that we have to take a back seat to anybody. What I really like about them is they're eager, they're coachable, and they're willing to work hard. Number one, more mental toughness, and that's what I told him in the offseason. He's a really talented kid, and when he first came here, he was just a big, happy baby, and just, you know, he needed his butt kicked a bunch, you know, both from guys on the field and from me. And he's been getting plenty of it from me because I want to see how much he can handle. And he's gone from being a guy that had a hard time handling that to a guy that right now I can just completely scald him. And he just looks right at me and says, "Yes, sir," and goes back out there and does the next play, you know, and it doesn't affect him. So I'm seeing that mental toughness that I needed to see from him in order to think that he could even have a chance to play here.
Awesome. Philip is an extension of me. I mean, he knows what I'm teaching. You know, when you get to this point in your career, you know, he's been around me for 3 years. You know, I don't have to tell him anything, to be honest with you now, because everything that I've ever coached him on, you know, he's retained it because he's heard it over and over and over again. So he's an extension of me. I mean, he does a lot of coaching on the field himself now because he knows exactly what I'm looking for. So it's awesome. It's awesome. It really looks good. You know, Trevon's grown up a bunch. You know, for him, just that 1 year of experience, even though he didn't get to play much, but being in that game, he understands what it takes, and he's done a great job of staying out the training room. You know, that was one of his problems, being injured, nicked up. But Trevon's such a great kid. He's always afraid that he's going to let you down. Coach, I'm sorry if he runs play wrong or busts something. It's, Coach, I'm so sorry. I'll let you down. You ain't letting me down. You're letting the whole team down. You're letting all the Auburn fans down. You're letting everybody down, and more so you're letting yourself down. So go out there and execute. What we can't do is keep correcting you on the same thing. And for Trevon, people are always going to try him because of his size. They're going to try to bully him or run at him when he's out there having the block, and that's where he's got to improve. With that ball in his hand, he's pretty good. What we got to get him better at is on our end of it, he's got to be able to block on that perimeter. We're not going to accept anything less, or he won't be out there. But he's a competitive kid, and he's a kid that really wants to please, and sometimes to a fault because he's so down on himself that you have to bring him back. But he's getting better at that, and I tell you, the guys around him have done a good job of keeping him in the fold and keeping him encouraged. It's been awful, and I've been in charge of it, so we need to improve that. Somebody else will be here talking to, so I'll be spraying fruit at Walmart, so I'm going to try to get that fixed. But being a punt returner, it's not something really that you teach. You can teach fundamentals and all these things, but you got to have a knack for that. You got to be able to find the ball off a guy's foot, get lined up, and then the most important thing is to catch it. What you do after the catch is something that we can set up a wall, or we can set up a middle return, or we can set up a revert. But iron that football when you know 11 guys are coming after you, it's a tough job. It's a tough job. And I don't plan on saving anybody for the next coach. I'm going to try to play them all if they allow me to. And they're talented enough that they should be able to contribute in some different ways. And, you know, again, I'm not going to burn somebody's year just for 2 or 3 plays, but some of those guys can run tunnel screens and bubbles and do some things that they can help us with. And we need all hands on deck. I mean, we're only playing with 72 scholarship players. We need to bring them all. And left. He's like my son. Dad, can I have some money before I ask why? He's gone. But Philip, don't worry about it. Emery's going to be all right. I know Emery's going to be okay. I start to make you move your feet, move some up down. I go to the move with the guy one time, he thinks he can ask a question and walk off. You know? He didn't even share your popcorn. You had a bucket for $2.50. You still wouldn't give it out. That's all right, Philip. We still cool. Remember that.